Justin Thomas with Galactic Web Services. Today I'm going to talk about competing with enterprise through automation. But before we get into that, we need to understand a little bit about the history of the internet. Um, so we're going to talk about the state of the internet as it is and its history. So the HTML language for building web pages was released in 1993. In 1995, it was said about the internet is just a passing fad. Any ideas on who said that? If you guessed Bill Gates, you'd be right. Of course, obviously, he doesn't feel that way now, but at the time, it goes to show that people weren't really sure what the internet was going to be or become or anything like that. It was just kind of this new thing, and people didn't really know what was going to come of it. And of course, some people thought that nothing serious was going to come of it, as this example shows. So, how was software done before the internet? Companies would have software to sell. They would have to go around and install software on each individual system. They may charge lots of money and take a long time to get everything set up and working. Enterprise software and how they work today. They have software that does everything. It could be internet software or traditional software. They may charge tens of thousands of dollars. If it's traditional software, it may still take a time setting it up and getting it configured, and they may lock you into long-term contracts. And if you're a small business looking to purchase the software, this could be a real killer. Long-term contracts in combination with a whole lot of money, especially in a small business environment where you're not sure, how profitable your company is going to be yet, can be a real killer. So, how can small businesses like mine, or just small businesses looking to do some of the stuff that enterprise software can do, how can they compete and do these things? Okay, small businesses today focus on perfecting one task. Or I should say, small software companies today focus on perfecting one task. And then they offer APIs, which is an application programming interface. This is what allows software to connect to and pull data from it or push data to it, other pieces of software. And this small practice has allowed small businesses to compete with enterprise, I think. A real world example. This is my website. You can see up in the corner there's a get your free consultation. So a couple of things happen. If somebody comes to this website and they fill out that form for a free consultation with me, a couple of things happen. First, once they hit send now, they get sent to an application called Calendly, which allows them to schedule a time to have that consultation with me. According to, where my calendar is available, because Calendly will connect to my calendar, and only schedule places where I don't have things already scheduled. Or it also won't schedule any places that I have intentionally blocked out, say, hey, I don't want to accept calls during these times. So that's the first thing that happens. The next thing that happens is after they submit that form, their information gets dropped into an application called Drip. And excuse me for this slide being slightly off. Not sure what happened there. But they get dropped into an application called Drip. And they get, and basically Drip is an automated email marketing automation. And this is a workflow for that. So in this case, I'm not really marketing to them. I'm creating communications with them. So, and it's all an automated workflow. So once they submit that information, their information goes in here, and I tag them with consultation request tag. And that way I know that they've requested a consultation request, and then I immediately get an email notification that somebody has done so. And then if you see in the next step in the workflow, I wait 2 hours. This is to allow them, this waiting time is to allow them to complete the request, the time schedule in Calendly. And after 2 hours, if they do that, then they get dropped down to the next point in the workflow down here where it says invitee created free consultation event via Calendly. And once they do that, then they go down here, then we send them a consultation. We tag them as scheduled consultation so that we know that they actually scheduled the consultation, and then we send them an email basically saying, hey, thanks for scheduling your consultation at this time. We're looking forward to meeting with you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Now, what happens if they don't do that in that 2-hour time frame? Then they get sent a series of 2 emails over 2 days. After 2 hours, I'll send them an email saying, hey, I've noticed that you haven't scheduled this consultation yet. Here's the link if you'd still like to do so. And then I wait a day. After a day, if they still haven't done it, then they'll receive another email saying, for whatever reason you didn't decide to schedule this, thanks, have a good day. If you still want to do it, here's the link. And that's about it. And then I don't deal with that person again, hardly. So that's kind of the workflow that we go through, and this is all automated. So that's kind of the workflow we go through. So that if somebody goes through the entire workflow, schedules a consultation, receives an email confirmation from me, then this is all work that is done for me without having to send emails back and forth over a period of a few days. This can all be done in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes if a person wants to. And then all I have to do is I get the notification that they've scheduled a consultation call, and all I have to do is show up for the call. So that's Drip. I included this next slide just to kind of give you an example of how complicated some of these workflows can become. This is not one of my workflows. I borrowed this from somebody, but they can become pretty complicated and can include lots of choices and triggers and different things like that. Triggers based off other applications even. So it can become really complicated. So to talk a little bit about some of these other applications that I've used and that I've also recommended to clients, we have Pipedrive, which is a sales CRM. So you can create basically steps in your sales funnel, and the user can go through these steps in the sales funnel. Again, all of these pieces of software focus on perfecting these one small tasks, and then they offer APIs to connect to other pieces of the application. In other words, the next one you'll see below Pipedrive is Drip, which is one I just showed you, the email marketing automation. So Pipedrive can connect to Drip, as a customer moves from one stage to the sales funnel, and Pipedrive to the next stage in the sales funnel, you might want to fire a trigger in Drip to send them a series of emails based on whatever stage they're in or whatever you're trying to accomplish. And that can all be automated and tied together. And then I also talked about Calendly, which is the next one. Calendly is designed around scheduling. And then another one that I recommend is Buffer, which is if you use social media for your business, Buffer, I would highly recommend it for almost anyone that uses social media for business. Buffer basically allows you to schedule out posts throughout the day, or however long you want. So you can kind of sit down in the mornings, do all your social media work in 30 minutes or an hour or however long it takes you, and post it all into Buffer, and then Buffer will spread it out over a day or a week or however long you set that up. So Buffer works for you in that way. And again, all of these offer APIs so that they can be tied into other applications. And that's about it. I'm Justin Thomas with Galactic Web Services, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks. Bye.